The Institute knows the Cleveland Slow loves two things more than anything else in this world: Kevin Brennan and lying. The 26th of March, 2024, on Misery Loves Company, the ambiguously gendered Kevin Brennan recounted how his wife thought Raymond was creepy.
Why don't you like Ray DeVito?
Ray, first of all, Ray has never done anything to me, but he has disgusting vibes. Like Ray, I've been around, because I'm from Pittsburgh, he's from Cleveland. We would see each other starting out.
Right.
And every time I've been around him, I'm like, God, it feels like I just walked into a spider web, you know?
Wow. Wow. You got that vibe from Ray DeVito?
Wow. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. I can't believe it. I mean, Ray DeVito's a creepy... I mean, he's more of a loser than he is creepy, but like, fucking Ari Jane wants to come on to show. Listen, I'm not making this up. She reached out to me this week too, and she said she wants to come on with Tracy because she wants to understand how Tracy can deal with Ray DeVito. These are women that are literally disgusted by Ray DeVito, and then Ray is like, Ray puts off some kind of vibe with women. I mean, yeah, I think my wife met him too by accident, and because one time Ray was at the comic strip, and then my wife this is years ago, my wife had to come pick up the kids or something, and she's like, who is that guy? I said, that's Ray DeVito. And she's like, he's a creepy guy. And
Sucked the air out of the room.
Yeah, I'm like, he is? And she's like, yeah, I got a weird vibe. She didn't say spider web. She's like, I got a weird vibe from that fucking creep. So I always thought that was funny that my wife thought he was a creep. But now it's starting to track a little bit where everybody that has in it, it's like, is around him, like, you know what I mean? Like, once you're around him in his physical presence, you find a guy repulsive.
The Cleveland Slow frequently talks about picking up a pen. He never actually writes jokes once he is holding one. Accordingly, he has only one response to criticism: calling people fat.
A fucking 200-pound fat cow.
After Raymond screamed at Felicia from the Planet Fitness lobby, calling her 200 pounds, Kevin Brennan once again recounted how his wife thought the Slow was creepy.
Also, Ray can talk shit back, but it has to be based in reality. He's not saying anything that's true about me. So the shit talk is weak as fuck. I mean, I said he has gross vibes. Everyone can see why now, because he's unaccountable and he's slippery, and those people are fucking gross.
My wife met him. She thought he was creepy. She's met him and she's like, who was that guy who came in? And she met him at the comic strip. She's like, who was that guy who came in at the end? And I didn't even know who she was talking about. And then I figured it out. I was like, Ray DeVito? And she's like, I guess. Is he creepy? I go, I didn't really know Ray. I was like, I don't think so. But I think women get a creepy vibe from the guy. Because I think either he doesn't like women or he wants to I-80 them. You know what I mean? I think he really, in the back of his mind, he wants to be like that, what's the guy? David, the guy from Florida who killed everybody?
David Koresh?
Ted Danson or Ted Bundy?
Cheers. Ted Danson.
No, Ted Bundy. Like Ted Bundy and Ray look a lot alike. Ray's never had a girlfriend. Women get weird vibes from him. And I think and he thinks...
That's why he's so mean to him too, like Ari Jane, all that awful stuff he said about her.
Because he don't really want to date him.
Yeah.
He wants to take them to I-80 and then dispose of their bodies. Never met KB's wife, only saw her at KB's road. You met her at the comic strip, you fucking hack. I was there. You came in, she said you smelled weird and maybe you came from the gym. You met her, Ray. Oh, because Ray doesn't remember?
That's weird. Oh,
this is the guy. Remember you were hit by a truck? And
save $2, Ray.
Maybe if you got frontal lobe issues and maybe you have some memory issues, 100%. I'll ask her right after the show. And she remembers. She remembers that smell. She'll never forget it, she said. But she definitely met you at the comic strip when I was doing my show at the comic strip. Might have been the same show that Levy brought his son to the comic strip. It was a big day for MLC. Never met KB's Rice. Only saw her at the end, and she knew to avoid you at the roast. I don't misremember things. So Ray met my wife at the comic strip, and Felicia's not fat. I've seen her. And if she was fat, I would be like, why is Pat Dixon on the run with this fat girl? That's the first thing I would have thought, because I'm a practical guy. I could see going. I mean, you don't want to go on the run with a fat girl because they're always eating and they run slow. Are you talking about Ray's what's it called? The two first names?
The nature, yeah.
The nature. You think Ray has anything to do with it? I mean, again, and Ray was like, I never met Kevin's wife until the roast. That's a lie. Not only, I can't even tell the story, it's so embarrassing, and my wife couldn't 100% confirm it, but what my wife said was, she met him at the comic strip. I know she met him at the comic strip one day, and then my wife had to leave. The reason she went to the comic strip, I was doing my show. She had an appointment up there because she used to go to, I don't want to dox her. Anyway, she had an appointment up in the Upper East Side. She dropped the kids off. She met Ray. She, whatever. There were people there. It's a comedy club. It's open. People are coming and going. And Ray was probably on my show, or we had just done the show. Anyway, and then, so my wife left to go to her appointment. I was still at the comic strip with my kids or whatever. And then when she was walking back to the comic strip to meet us all, she said she ran into Ray on like 2nd Avenue, which is where the comic strip is, and Ray, and she was Ray kind of like approached her like, oh, we're like friendly now, and she was like, I'm pretty sure he tried to like lean in and give me a kiss.
Oh God.
And I was like, what? I was like, what? I go, are you and she's like, I vaguely, faintly remember. And I was like, that's insane. If that's true, that's insane. My wife that he just met, and now they accidentally run into each other outside on the street after just meeting maybe an hour before that. And he leans in to try to, but Mr. Kill Everything said Ray was really weird when he met Mrs. Kill Everything. Like he gave her like a weird, so Ray's a weird dude. So have at it.
Hi, Mrs. Kill Everything. Licks her ear.
No, he said he was like he kind of hugged him. Mr. I think I asked as a joke, was Ray weird when you met him? And Mr. Kill Everything, like he was weird. He tried to like hug us or something, and it was anyway. Mr. Kill. So this will back up what I've been saying. Mr. Kill, when we met Ray, he kind of charged her with an awkward hug. After that, things became normal. He introduced us to AJ, then Carl. It was the first time I felt that I had to physically defend my wife. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Wow. I think Rach is real awkward with people, so.
Yeah.
And again, it's like he's with women, I think he really has something weird with women. He has a weird thing with his mom. He has a weird thing with his sisters. It's like, it's not Mr. Kill, I don't want to go too far, again, after yesterday, I'm a little self-conscious about not spending enough time, but we're, to his point, it's like, Ray's a weird dude. What's Mrs. KB's take on? I already told you, she said, Ray denies this, but again, he don't remember, but no, she met Ray at the comic strip one time. I think she said he was sweaty. And then she had to go somewhere. That's why she came by to drop the kids off, because she had to drop the kids off. They were younger. They were much younger. So they were just sitting there while I was doing the show at the comic strip. My wife had to go somewhere, not far from the comic strip. But then she said, I guess on the way back, she ran into Ray, who was leaving. And then Ray tried to when he saw her, he's like, oh, hi, and he leaned in and gave her a kiss on the cheek. And she's like, what?
Did the Cleveland Slow attempt to sexually assault Kevin Brennan's wife? We may never know for sure.
She's saying whatever Kevin wants to hear. And then Kevin's like, oh yeah, whoa, my wife's, I've never met Kevin's wife. If that was a real thing, you don't think Kevin would have said that fucking 4 years ago to me? I've known Kevin 5 years. He never said that, and within 5 years, he just said it today when this lady said it. I've never spoken to Kevin's wife ever. I never have. I only knew who she was because I went to the roast, and I want to say it was Biggerstaff that pointed out, like, hey, that's Kevin's wife right there. That was it. I didn't say anything to her. I didn't interact with her. There's a roast going on. That's the only time I ever saw his wife. I've never interacted with his wife. All right, put it this way. You think if I would have had a weird interaction with his wife, Kevin wouldn't have been talking about it for the last 6 years? If that would have happened, you would have heard about that within 6 years. You would have heard of that at some point. Kevin wouldn't have sat on that. Kevin wouldn't have sat on that for 6 years. Like, oh yeah, by the way, my wife said. So today, because some lady said that, Kevin's like, yeah, he's really playing like John Lovett's. Yeah, that's the ticket. Oh, he's a weirdo. Yeah, Kevin and I split up. A lot of people were friends of mine just because I was on MLC. And they're just MLC, which is fine. They could be MLC loyalists, but it stinks because I looked at them as like real friends. So I've been played by a lot of people that were like, you know, first of all, I can't have comics on my show now because Kevin's going to put like, ooh, this is the big name. But no, there are comics who watch this Dabbleverse and they see him and they see like what he does to people that are on his show and not on his show.
So you had a bad energy too?
I never met Kevin's wife. If this is Kevin, keep my name out of your mouth, Liam. I never met your wife, Kevin. The only people I met in Kevin's family, I met his kid once at Compound Media. Like he said that his wife showed up at the comic strip with her kids. That's not true because I would have remembered meeting your kids. The only time I met his son, and his son's a sweetheart, and I met him at Compound Media.
Raymond demonstrates perfect recall of meeting Kevin Jr.
I did not meet your wife. I saw her at your roast because Bob Biggerstaff pointed out, like, oh, hey, that's Kevin's wife. That's the only time I ever saw Kevin's wife. So I did not meet her at the comic strip. I didn't hang out at the comic strip. After the podcast, I left. I only did his podcast like 3 times at the comic strip. I'd never met your wife. I mean, you could say what you want, put me on a lie detector. I never met your wife, dude. Like, at least to my knowledge, I never. And then to say like I went up and tried to hug and kiss her on the street. All right, yes, because that's what I do. Okay, whatever. That's what he said. On the he's like, yeah. Then Ray, my wife went to this. Like, why would I hang at the comic strip after the podcast is over? No one did that. It's like, okay, it's like 4 PM. Goodbye. I'm going back to the story of doing my thing.
Right.
So I think he's got me confused with someone else. So.
Okay.
No, the one thing I will say about Kevin, like I did meet his son once at it's the only family member I met. He was a cool kid, and Kevin's good with his kids. I will say that. I will give Kevin that he is good with his kids. So as much as I want to like shit on the guy for being a piece of shit, which is a piece of shit right now, he is good with his kid, and his kid's a really nice kid. On top of that, but yeah, he is like good with his son. I've only met his son, and his son's a pretty cool kid. Kevin, I can't say the same for, but his kid, I'll give his kid a thumbs up.
My God.
Kevin, thumbs down. He's not a nice guy, but his kid was a cool kid. But that's the only family member I met of his. And Neil, I met Neil. I will admit that he is good with his son. Even when like he'd lose his mind at Compound Media, his son would be in the other room, like just hanging out. He is good with his son. I'll give him that. Wait till his son does a podcast about something. Wait till his son goes to Las Vegas for a Melton Hackmania Fest, and then he'll turn on his kid. Like,
in Raymond's feeble mind, he truly believes he is an equal to Kevin Jr.
And it's kind of like, my kid's a piece of shit. My kid's a piece of shit. Yeah. Wait till his kid goes and does a podcast somewhere. Then he's gonna.
The Cleveland slow is delusional.
Yeah, it's like Jesus, man. But no, he is good with his son. I will give the guy that. But he was always nice to me. I never thought he was gonna turn on me the way he did. I never did fucking shit to him. I just got on a plane. That was kind of a bit on his podcast where it's like, oh, Ray's getting on a plane for the first time. It was like a bit on his podcast too. So for him to like do a 180 out of that, it's like, okay, now you want me dead. Now apparently I met his wife on the street and I tried to kiss her according to him. Did you hear that fucking thing? Was the only time I ever saw, and I never met her. And I told the story a bunch. Like, go back in the archives.
We did. Viewers will be unsurprised to learn that Raymond has been lying.
at the stand on his roast. And I was there with Bob Biggerstaff. We're in the back of the room, and I sat down, and his wife was sitting like a table next to us, because we're in the back of the room where like the showroom starts. And he's like, oh, that's Kevin's wife. That's the only time I ever saw her. That's the only time I ever, and I didn't even meet her because it's a sold out show and like things are happening. So I never even talked to her. That's the only time I saw her, is when Bob Biggerstaff pointed out, it's like sitting 2 seats down from me was Kevin's wife. That's the only time I ever saw her. That's it. But also the other thing is, the only time I met his kid, like he said that his wife was there with his kids at the comic strip. The only time I met one of his kids was I met his son, and that was at Compound Media. I didn't meet his kid at the comic strip. So that's also like bullshit. I would have remembered meeting your kid. I'm not a fucking asshole. If anything, I'm nicer to kids than I am to like adults.
If the rumors are to be believed, this is especially true at Planet Fitness.
When I say a kid, like, hey, what's up? And his kid was cool as shit. Yeah, and I want to say it was Andrea Bryant, who like worked at Gas Digital at the time. She was giving cookies. I ate a cookie. His kids eating cookies, and I was talking to his son a little bit. We might have been talking about basketball or something. But yeah, his kid was a cool kid, and Kevin was great. Kevin's great with his kids, at least his son, as far as I know. I assume he's good with all his kids. I'm not going to pull a Kevin and be like, I don't know, I hear things. I don't know, I hear things. Go fuck yourself.
The Cleveland Slow has a crystal clear memory of meeting Kevin Jr. Yet when he is questioned about a date with a woman, he can't answer basic questions. And now, dear viewer, pretend that you did not already know Raymond was lying. Pretend that the following reveals are a shocking and unexpected surprise.
I'm gonna say there's no way he has. Again, I don't want to fucking test anything, but they're not. I met Kevin's wife. She's a sweetheart, and she's.
Stop! Don't talk about Kevin.
good-
Let's just. I wouldn't even.
If you're still single, you don't want to be with someone. I'm like, look, my paper was broken.
No, Kevin Brennan is just saying, listen, I met his wife. You met his wife. She's awesome. She's great.
She's awesome.
And fucking cheers to her for putting up with fucking Kevin. I'm more on her side. Whatever argument they have, I'm on her side. I'm like,
Me
yeah.
too, because she's
I'm
won
like-
10 medals being married to him.
Whatever, if he has any argument with his wife, I'm like, dude, I agree with her. I agree with her, dude. She's 100% right. Neelax44, KB is obsessed with Carl. Hot dog man is yee.
Possibly. No, he likes to make fun of me because my wife was in a video with me. In fact, she's been in a lot of videos with me. She's a part of the show. But we don't even know if he's married to a woman.
I met his wife. Yeah, she's...
Okay. Did you check her package? Did you check?
She's an attractive lady.
Did you give her a cup check real quick just to make sure it's not like a Jim Norton situation?
No, she's a very attractive lady.
Okay.
Yeah, she had a blast at Kevin Brennan's roast. I sat next to her at the roast.
Ray, no one gives a fuck about your ambassadorship or lack thereof.
You guys are gonna get along again. I'm gonna make it happen.
No shit. That's why I said today that his wife was the color of the darkest tooth on the chart at the dentist.
Ray, you are the Neville Chamberlain of podcasting. You are not.
You can threaten to rape Kevin Brennan's wife and he'll be your friend next month. He doesn't give a fuck. He's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
No, he's my friend.
He's a bitch.
And I consider you a friend.
He thinks you're retarded.
No, he does not.
Everybody likes Ray at clubs. Everybody likes Ray at clubs. Yeah, like a retarded puppy.
Jesus Christ.
Ray, no, but what are you talking about? You're not a respected comic. What world are you in?
He's a fucking great man.
He's not. He's not.
He is a great
piece of shit. His family can't stand him. That's why he's always doing shows in the other room. His kids hate him. His wife hates him.
I met his wife. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's not a conflict with what I said. Both things can be true.
Yeah, you don't have a problem with Jimmy and Nikki, you're saying, but he would have a problem if I was married to a dude.
You're not married to a dude.
Okay, but Carl implied that maybe I was, and that he would have a problem with that. Like that would be an object of ridicule for him and his gang of losers.
Your wife is hot. I said so on my show.
You didn't say that.
She's
You
hot.
said-
I
you didn't
said
say that. You said no.
There's
You didn't.
more to
You
it.
didn't
I
say
said
that.
I sat next to her at the
No,
roast battle.
I saw. I watched the clip. You think I'm an idiot?
By the way, Kevin, you said a while ago, the only time I never really actually got to meet your wife. I just knew her at your roast. I didn't meet her. I met Kevin's wife. She's a sweetheart.
I met his wife. You met his wife. She's awesome. I met his wife. I met his wife. She's gorgeous.
Ray, you met her at the comic strip.
I did
was
not.
there.
I met Kevin's wife. She's a sweetheart.
I met his wife. You met his wife. She's awesome. I met his wife. I met his wife. She's gorgeous.
I was there. You
I
fucking
did
idiot.
not. I met Kevin's wife. She's a sweetheart.
I met his wife. You met his wife. She's awesome. I met his wife. I met his wife. She's gorgeous.
I was
Bigger
there.
Staff is the one that pointed out to me.
Ray,
that was
I
your
know.
wife.
I'm not an idiot. You are. You met her at the comic strip. I remember because I was
didn't.
there.
I met Kevin's wife. She's a sweetheart.
I met his wife. You met his wife. She's awesome. I met his wife. I met his wife. She's gorgeous.
You said, then I don't remember meeting her.
Okay, I do.
I met Kevin's wife. She's a sweetheart.
I met his wife. You met his wife. She's awesome. I met his wife. I met his wife. She's gorgeous.
She said you were weird, and that's how I knew she met you because everybody says the same take on you.
No,
I'm a fan, Ray, but everybody else thinks you're weird.
The Institute only knows Ray DeVito as a liar. A shameless, crooked liar.
I used to lie all the time when I was a kid. I would just lie about everything. I never told my mom anything. And then when I did, I would just lie to her. I just did that.